Podcasts aren't anybody's kingdom. The podcast belongs to the three body narrative. That's the only famous line this movie ever had. But welcome to the three body narrative. We are your podcast hosts, Pradyum, Aaron, and Naeem, and we are here to talk about Deva. Is it pronounced Deva or is it actually Dave A? Well, we'll find out in just some time. So, what is Deva all about? So, Deva follows a skilled but rebellious cop, Dave Ambre, investigating the murder of his best friend. But what this investigation brings about is a layer of lies and some shocking truths. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Let's start with our ratings. And I'm going to be talking about mine first because this movie is a remake of a 2013 Malayalam movie called Mumbai Police, which stars some really well known Malayalam actors. Obviously, in the lead role is Prithvi Raj, who also has been in a couple of Hindi movies, if I'm not mistaken. But I would give it now. Okay. Before I give my rating, now this is the problem with remakes: is that when going into Deva, I didn't know this was a remake. I made the mistake, and probably this is my fault, of going into Wikipedia and just kind of reading the top bit, and it said that this is a remake of Mumbai Police. And I knew exactly what Mumbai Police was because it was one of my favorite. It is one of my favorite Malayalam movies. It was quite well done. I really liked the movie. But what it does is it had me comparing the entire movie to what the original was, and that's why it's probably going to affect my ratings.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really like the Malayalam one. I thought it had some. While of course this is all about an investigation, a murder investigation, and of course there are plot twists and all of that. The reasoning or the climax is very different between the two. And I personally liked the Mumbai Police climax more than I did Deva, which is why I would probably give this a 2.5 out of 5.
Wow, interesting.
Cool. Yeah, I think Shahid Kapoor has had many roles like this. I think it's been almost he's kind of typecast as this Gunda rebellious character. Whether it be Kamine, he had this character. I think he had this in, was it Arjun Reddy? Was that the one? Or what's it called in what was it called in Hindi?
Kabir Singh.
Kabir Singh, yes. So he had this very rebellious character, this really bad boy image. He had this even in one of the prime TV shows with him and Vijay Sethupathi, where he does this counterfeiting of money, which is actually quite Farsi, yeah, something like that. Farsi Cafe, yes, yes, Farsi. So I think I've seen him in too many of these similar roles, and I felt watching him again in the same sort of sphere was a bit not again. I think similar to the way I watch Prithvi Raj's movies right now, and I'm like, he's always typecast as this drunkard character. So I think, yeah, I got a little bored of that. I didn't see the need to be overly brash and violent and unnecessarily crude. This is Mumbai, not Delhi. Yeah, and also I didn't think there was the women in the movies didn't add anything for me. There were certain things.
So we'll come to that. I think now that you've got your rating out of the way, we can discuss.
Yeah, I did. I forgot I did, but I almost had a Deva like amnesia moment. I was like, did I?
Cool. So you gave it a 2.5 out of 5, right?
5. Yeah.
That's what you've gone with. That cool. Aaron, did you also have an inkling or have an idea about that this is a remake of another movie, Malayalam or something?
No, I just watched the movie as
cool.
is.
So
Malayalam, not or something. Only Malayalam.
I mean, you have movies that at first, like done in one language and then again
I
remade
know,
and then
but I'm
again.
just saying, okay, go.
That's what I meant. Like, I don't know if there is another remake somewhere that happened after the Malayalam and then it's been kind of taken.
Yeah, no, it's just that, but yeah.
Cool. So, Aaron, what would you rate this movie at?
I think a 2 out of 5 at best. Really wasn't
I thought I was
impressed by the movie.
Damn.
Yeah, wasn't really impressed by the movie. I mean, I don't want to shit on the acting, but I don't think this was Shahid Kapoor's best work. I think some of the visuals were ordinary at best.
Oh, I don't want to butt him, but damn, the CGI I've seen so much worse. Like, I've never seen so much, like, a really bad CGI thing been done in 2025.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, literally had to pause and like, wait, when did this movie come out? Because it was so bad. Like, okay. I mean, there was even a simple scene where they drove up or they met at like I would guess it was like Marine Drive or something like that along the water. And like, you couldn't get that like authentic. I was like, oh man, that was sad. So yeah, quite disappointing. Like you said, I think the female characters, in fact, actually the side characters in general were just there to be for the sake of being there. Didn't really add a whole lot. Yeah, I mean, I just watched the movie just because it was there, I guess. But yeah, didn't enjoy it, to be honest. Quite disappointed.
Honestly, when I saw I was never intrigued by watching it because I saw the thumbnail and I saw the movie poster and it's him with the sort of, I think the title in his mouth, essentially, I think cussing something. Or it's something to do with him being really rowdy. That's the poster, right? Shahid Kapoor in this rowdy thing. And I was like, this looks like another Kabir Singh. Like he's just going to start yelling and beat the shit out of people. So I was like, do I really want to watch it? But then I did get intrigued when I read about the fact that it was a remake and of one of my a really good Malayalam movie. So I was like, okay, let's give it a go because if they can even pull off something like that, I didn't expect them to be as Malayalam movies are known for being a very, very indie, very like subtle, very grounded. So I wasn't expecting all of that. Solid stories and stuff like that. I was like, I wasn't expecting that, but I was not. I just was dreading the fact that they were going pure, brash, loud. This thing.
I think also, for me, it was more that it wasn't convincing. I mean, I'm sure Shahid Kapoor has done great jobs in other movies, but this was not a convincing performance to me. Like, to me, it didn't feel like this was a character that he was basically. It felt like it was something that was really being put on rather than
he was forcing
him being this. Yeah. And so that was what was more disappointing was the fact that I couldn't really see those people as the characters that they were trying to play.
Honestly, for me, my favorite character was the friend. Actually, I thought he did a decent job.
Roshan De Silva.
Yeah, Rohan.
Rohan.
Rohan De Silva. Yeah. Yes, cool. I know you are going to disagree with all of this.
I mean, see, I think it's. I hope by now at this point of juncture where we are in terms of the podcast, and for anyone who's been following this podcast religiously, probably knows that I'm more pro Bollywood than my other two co-hosts. So
imagine if we just movie, put this as the first episode. He's like,
this movie,
I hope you followed us through.
Imagine. But like, yeah, this movie is a solid 3.5 for me, if not more. Like, I, to a certain point of the movie, was even inkling towards a 4. I think this bad CGIs and certain things kind of hold it back for me. But
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed Shahid's performance. I thoroughly enjoyed the story in itself, the twist that happens, to the point where I actually didn't fathom that's what was happening, kind of a thing, which is quite strange because the movie I watched before this was Fight Club, and I saw through that movie like much before I should have, ideally. So having come from that perspective into this, perhaps I never thought that that's the kind of route they would want to go with the character. And perhaps also what is different is that you've got this certain idea of a character or an actor in your head, and you kind of don't expect them to do certain kind of things. And like I think the flip up of that and what happens in the finale. So two parts of the finale. One, the flip is bloody brilliant for me. The second is that it's just like, I think that's the 0.5 that goes away for me. It's like it doesn't feel enough of a reason to kind of do certain things that kind of lead to a more kind of like, there are better ways to kind of deal with kind of a thing, is my take of it, sort of a thing. I think it's important to get the spoiler out of the way.
So you're done with your rating then, right?
Yeah, it's definitely like a solid 3.5. It's more positive for me. It was a thoroughly enjoyable movie for me and for the person that I was watching it with. And it also, like, to the point where you're watching these kind of crime thrillers, you're kind of always guessing, or like, okay, maybe this is it. So after a really long time, I was having fun of kind of like, guess with multiple people discussing, do you think it's this, do you think it's that, kind of a thing. And I love the pacing of the movie. For me, the pacing was really good. It kept me hooked, entertained. I to also a point where I felt like, damn, I would have wanted to watch this in the cinemas. But good to know that we didn't, because if I had gone to the cinemas, I probably dragged Aaron with me for it, and then he would have cussed me for it right after the movie, perhaps. But yeah, very positive experience.
I think we've done worse than this at the theater.
That's true.
So you'd have been safe.
That is true.
Okay, cool, so the reveal or the sort of plot twist, which is the fact that he...
Spoiler alert, everyone.
Yeah, guys. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
We need to kind of put this into every movie that we've reviewed, that there are spoilers. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
exactly. Because otherwise because I know for sure there have been some reviews where we've not said spoiler alert and jumped.
Have we anything? But we've not really reviewed anything that's got Gunda, a major...
Bro. I think Gunda we've gone ahead, just revealed all the spoilers
way too
right
many.
off the bat.
Yeah, exactly.
Way too many spoilers.
Yeah, the first one, please don't watch it. Anyway, the other one, no, right now, I think spoiler alert for anyone who wants to watch this or the Malayalam one, because I'm going to probably give you the twist for both.
And interesting enough, I know the twist for the Malayalam one as well.
Okay.
And while I'm glad Shahid is not enacting that role per se, I think that was a much better, more feasible, not feasible, like it was a better reasoning.
It's a more grounded thing that happens, right?
And also shows, I think, in a certain way that some aspects of your life you just want it to be a secret, and you're not willing or you're not ready for it to be out there, kind of a thing.
So how did you come across that though?
I read, like, I read on Wikipedia after the movie, because I knew it was a remake.
You knew?
Like, I knew it was a remake. I actually didn't know which movie though. I just knew it was a remake of an Malayalam movie. I just happened to kind of read through afterwards, and then I was like, okay, cool. So the good thing was I read post obviously watching.
Yeah. I know. So I didn't.
I had.
So I only read the top where it said it is a remake of Mumbai Police, and because I knew what Mumbai Police is.
The problem with that is that you already know there's a twist coming, right?
No, the thing is, if I watched it normally, there are a lot of scenes which are there I would have been like, oh, this seems eerily familiar, and then I would have gone and checked, oh, is this a remake? Because this seems just like almost very familiar.
But I think perhaps that's where we kind of need to draw the line and kind of wait till we are done with the movie so that we can kind of judge it for what it is. And then see, it could very well also be that in certain cases there might be movies that take inspiration from certain other movies, or in a lot of cases copy a lot of things but are not really necessarily actual remakes of that movie.
I do say it is my fault. I shouldn't have done that. Probably did affect, but at the same time, my concerns were still enough that it was like 2.5.
See, there's nothing wrong in terms of, yes, I completely agree. Shahid has done similar roles in the past. But to me, like, that does not matter in the sense that I think he plays the role really well. Like, in the sense of me believing that he's this rowdy, not so good cop, which they kind of constantly keep driving in. In my head, see, the thing is,
so wait, let's just get the thing out of the way. Is that Shahid's character Deva is the one that kills his...
See, but like I thought we were gonna like do it in bits and pieces.
Okay, fine. Okay.
No, mind. It's a little too late, perhaps.
Is the actual killer? He's the one who kills his friend. Now the difference in this thing, I think Aaron doesn't know what hasn't read about the Malayalam one, but the difference is in the Hindi one, the reasoning behind the murder is because
tipping off this gangster constantly about the movements of the police before they could get to him. So he was always like a step or two ahead and could kind of evade it, or in certain ways kind of also damage the Mumbai police, which he kind of does at the end. I think until that point he hasn't really like, even though he's evaded them multiple times, he's not really kind of had any sort of how do I say, impact on the police in itself. Like he's not killed or anything like that. So nothing's changed from that perspective. And what you come to know is that Shahid's character has known this person during some tough times during his early years as a child, or like growing up, and he is helped by this person early on, and kind of
it's almost like The Departed, right? If anyone's watched that movie.
I've not watched The Departed.
Oh, okay.
But not, yeah.
I have to...
Thanks.
It's fine. But it is essentially that he was like saved by this gunda, this goon, and eventually does favors for him. But obviously the reason for the killing is because the friend finds out. He was tasked to find out who the mole is within the Mumbai Police, and he does find out that it is his best friend, and was going to reveal it in front of everyone, right?
At least that's what he says.
Allegedly.
That, as per the discussion, that's what he's led to believe, that the friend is going to reveal his true identity, or his true nature in front of the entire police and politicians, I suppose. I don't know who all were gathered in there, but I suppose that was the plan technically. But the eventual reveal happens that once he's killed his partner or his friend, who's actually one of his closest friends, there is this practice speech that the friend had sent to his fiance because she could not attend the event. So she was giving her like a demo speech of it, in which he kind of alludes to kind of having opted to not reveal who the mole was, instead going the way of praising his friend for being a good friend growing up. So there are different facets to Shahid's character. One is obviously this person who's helping this goon out from difficult times, which basically paints a picture that he's not a good character. But also
Which
there's a side
I
side
got
to
that,
him.
but also the fact that didn't he arrest his own father for doing something, who was a cop or something like that?
Yeah, so I think that's where you need to understand what's driving this character.
Yeah.
It's not the sense of he needs to do right. He feels wronged by the father in terms of the way he behaves or the way he treats him and things like that. And it's more of a revenge. Like, that's how I see it. Like, he wants him away for the things he's done to
him,
Shahid, not to what he's doing to the country or etc. And stuff like that. Like, not his. And the most important drive home factor of seeing that this guy is not really a good guy is in the way he deals with the women there, especially this lady cop within his team. There are certain passing comments that he passes, which in the moment you feel like you don't really understand where it's coming from, but you're thinking maybe it's like from more of a maybe he's trying to protect her or something like that. There must be some story behind it, something like that. Constantly, like I found myself like in the moment I felt like, dude, that sounds harsh, that sounds weird. You shouldn't be saying something like that. Yeah, you sound like a dick, right? And but immediately I'm also like in my head defending this character, thinking like maybe there's a story to it, maybe there's a reason why he's behaving that way, that they're not revealing it, but perhaps it kind of but when it comes full circle, when he realizes, so like you mentioned, that there are two different versions of Dev, which is the first version is Dev A before the accident happens. The accident happens right after him finding out that right after him killing his friend, and after a few weeks of misleading the investigation that follows.
Only to found, but this was just after the fact that he realizes that the friend was not going to rat him out
out him in front of everyone, like in the video the friend.
Speaking of out, sorry to cut you off, but speaking of out, that's exactly what the Malayalam
Mumbai Police
version Mumbai Police was the reasoning wasn't that Prithviraj or the main character was some sort of mole within the police office. In that, he kills his best friend because his friend accidentally walks in on him having a homosexual relationship with somebody else. It's another police officer or someone. Or another friend. I don't think it's a police officer, but another friend. And that sort of, and then the friend persuades the main character to kill his best friend because being a homosexual in the police force was taboo and could lead to a lot of complications, was kind of also illegal also, I think at that point, or is still illegal. So those sort of complications had a lot of complex issues, brought about a lot of complexities into the main character, and that's why he decides to do what he does. So which I thought was a very brave call in the film industry, as well as to show also a cop who was having this sort of relationship, which I would have been. I mean, I guess the moment I saw Shahid Kapoor flirting with Pooja's character and also sleeping with some random person's wife, I was like, okay, they're not going that angle, right? So a bit disappointed by that, but yeah, that is the difference between the two. That's the major difference, the climax. But yeah, I think overall, fun fact was that the early shot where the friend stops the politician in the night, and then he drives him to the place, right? Shahid Kapoor drives the friend to the politician's birthday party or whatever, the wife's birthday party. So fun fact was that they drive through an area, and that area is essentially where my old office used to be. On the highway where they drive on that basically flyover. So that's exactly like 5 minutes. That's exactly where my house and all are. So fun. That was really cool to see. I was like, oh, I know this place. I was like, oh, I used to go there every day. But yeah. It was pretty much, they were shot that quite late in the night because otherwise it's nigh impossible to get a shot. That's pretty much jam packed cars. So understandable. But yeah, I think, I mean, the CGI, as much as I don't like to, I mean, it's not the crux of the movie, nor is it this thing. It was jarring. Even a simple rain shot in the tunnel looked really bad when
he meets
he
with
was
the accident.
When he no, before yeah when he's talking with Farhan.
When they're when they're going back to the revisiting the incident.
Revisit or retracing the steps or whatever.
Steps, yeah.
But I agree with Aaron. I was like, I saw that part even in Marine Drive where you're supposed to see the skyline, and it looked so fake. And I'm like,
because it is, right. Like, you don't have that
it
skyline
is.
anyway.
Or even
when they're fake one that if. But I didn't understand why that had to be done. Like, what was the reasoning behind having that?
I don't know. Maybe crowded, or you can't get the right lighting. That area is a bit. I mean, there's a lot of construction happening in that side, so maybe it's just the fact that they couldn't get really a place to shoot. The other thing was when I think Rebecca and he are talking on this deck, right? I think when she thanks him for not giving the private outing or showing the message out or something like that, right?
Video, I didn't because they wanted to give credit.
Correct. To take away Rohan's.
So I think it's kind of like, if we can do like a quick run through of the movie in itself. We meet Shahid's character, Dave, at this point where what is the initial scene, to be honest? I forgot what the start of this movie is.
Is he going through the tunnel, calling him and saying that
calling,
I know who solved
the accident.
Oh, by the way, the accident, the CGI there was shit. Like, when I don't know what came in front of him and why he had to fall so weirdly onto that railing. Also, whoever did his makeup needs to be, I mean, I won't say sack, but needs to be told off or had a warning, because
I still don't get
either open up or close. It's like, what's your wound doing? I'm like,
okay, so
even the rest of his face was like as if he had put on some makeup and they had done his lips and stuff, and you're like, what happened there? Like, man, that was terrible.
Okay, cool. So the truck goes past him, and my assumption is that something falls off the truck which causes that accident, right?
It looked almost like
the problem is the way the CGI is done. One, you can't see the truck at a distance either, so you don't know where it's coming from. It suddenly falls, like it feels like the tunnel somehow had some sort of hadn't been maintained really well, and it's just fallen off.
That's a bigger plausible explanation than a truck stuff.
CGI is terrible in this movie. Even like,
and then he decided to go boarding on his face along the road. So that was another one.
First the railing and then the road was a fun thing.
Obviously, the other twist is that Farhan knows all about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But okay, I think he's called him up and he said who the murderer is, and etc. But I think my understanding of it is that's when he meets up with the accident, before he can explain why or what the cause was, and like everything that transpired and what pushed him to commit the murder.
I don't think, and I think is that still told at the end?
Farhan has to.
Yeah,
I think that's what he does, right? Like that's why he needs him to retrace everything, because
he filled that all out in
though
that
he
file.
knows, though he knows that the reality of the murder, this thing is that he's committed the murder. There's no way of proving it because he's been smart enough to kind of keep everything away. The only reality or the truth lies within that SIM card that is there of a old this thing, and that only Rohan knew about, other than Shahid Kapoor himself. I mean, Shahid's character himself. Which is a very critical thing, and you kind of find out later on.
In the Malayalam movie, it's that the reasoning why the whole thing, like, Farhan or the character even in Malayalam, they had the recording, right? So part of you is like, why can't you just say? So apparently that is inadmissible, or you don't have proof. So like you said, he didn't have the proof. So in the Malayalam one, it's like he needed the main character to actually say that he did it and have that recording and everything done. So that's why the whole retracing everything. And I'm guessing here it's not that case, but I probably think he's also defending or trying to protect him. But when Shahid Kapoor's character does retrace it and this thing, there's probably a sense of like relief, like, yeah, let's just get this out of the way.
Yeah, so I was, so at the end when I realized that Farhan already knew about it, kind of a thing, I was like already like, I just wanted them to not go the way of Farhan wanting to protect, because he's also his Dev is also his brother-in-law, and I was like, because that portrays Farhan to be a very shitty cop as well.
Yeah.
But it turns out that it's not. It's just like he understands that he could not see through the case earlier, and there's no way to kind of solve it. And the best option or the best opportunity they have is that this guy retraces the steps and kind of comes across this thing. Also, probably to the point where the fact that he's lost his memory and he's behaving a certain way, maybe Farhan needs him to understand what he's actually done to kind of then live through the consequences of that, because it would be quite shitty to kind of have lost all the memory of, because the Dev that technically dies never comes back. This is a whole different version of him that comes back to life per se. Dave B, as we kind of call him, or I'm guessing if there is another movie that comes up, we already have one of the we have one of the sequels. He looks very different in that. It's called Dave D. It came out years ago, so if you guys are interested, you can watch that movie. I think the
Aaron
movie
is like,
has him.
No, it's not exactly
like
a sequel. It's
facial
like
restructure.
Yeah. Aaron looked so shocked when you said sequel. Like,
it's got Deol in it, Abhay Deol. Yeah, Dave D, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
But it has no link whatsoever with this movie.
The one thing though I have to give props to, and which I really like, about when the friend was killed, he runs to the camera and he takes it and he looks, and there's somebody running down.
I love that. I love
really
that
like
point.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, because and that's the thing, right? Like at that point, they're so playing with your psyche. It's to the point where, see, the thing is like, okay, like my assumption is I'm seeing it as an audience, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what's happening. I'm seeing what this guy is trying to show me.
Yeah.
That's what exactly that's the viewpoint of the movie. And that's what happens when he takes the camera and flips over and you see someone running down. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. There's definitely someone involved. Now, even to this point, when I initially see that person running down, I'm already thinking that's a decoy. Like that's not the actual person.
That's a hired gun. Or
my reasoning behind it is because now I might have been overthinking it, but I'm like, the angle in which that shot came through, it did not look like it came from that angle. It looked more straighter in the way it passes through the body. So I'm like, it cannot be that. So to the point where I felt like on the stage itself, right across, there is another huge statue or something. And I, for some reason, kept thinking somewhere there, the person's taken some sort of vantage point or something and somehow managed to get a shot in, kind of a thing. But then it turns out it's the building behind that, and it's like okay, cool. Like even the reveal of how he goes about. Okay, so does Mumbai Police also have the same thing of him automating that shot from there? From the building?
Yeah. It's an automated thing. So again, from the phone. So everything, I think, pretty much is a very good copy or remake, a very similar remake, except for the ending and the fact that in that Prithviraj, yes, is brass, but he's not like really crass as much as Shahid. I think that obviously is played out a lot more because it's Bollywood, right? Like this very loud, very big character. No, so what I liked it even because I knew that Shahid was the killer, right? Because I'd seen Mumbai Police, so I knew Shahid was the killer. But the fact that they showed that, I was like, oh, that's cool, because anyone who doesn't know he's the killer would be like, oh, look, there's somebody running down, there's someone involved, and all of that. And I was like, oh, that's a really nice thing, because for me, it's like, oh, they're showing it from his perspective, but he's the one holding the camera, and he asks, is it recorded? So he knows that it's like, in the sense that no one can really find anything. And they're showing a clear image, and then later when he comes back as his Dave B character, he sees that it's all blurred, so no one can actually see anything. So I really like that part. That's the one really cool addition feature which I really thought was pretty cool. I also like the car color change, which I don't know if it added much. It was a cool thing.
I think it does, like in the sense that it kind of deviates the whole search for a bit, for a while. And the most obvious, the thing is, in such movies, you don't want to go with the most obvious option. You like, there's no way I think it's a minister who's got this kill done. So having that color of car and stuff like that, like, it really doesn't. I'm like, okay, no, there's something bigger at play here, kind of a thing.
But yeah.
So the blue car really, the fact that it's a blue car and then turning, it's supposed to be in one of the lots of the police lots or something, is taken up. And so basically that point where the car is parked, it's like the backside of where those buildings are, right? Where the shot is taken from.
I think so, yeah.
That's the whole concept of it.
Yeah.
Because that's what the lady says. Like, this person comes at night, the car was there for some time, and then it was not there.
Correct.
Right. So in that time is when he's gone there and he set up the gun and stuff like that. Done the whole thing of seeing where the laser hits and stuff like that, and then goes back to kind of move away from this thing within the night itself.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay, so I think very important in terms of the storyline. Like, they're chasing after, like when Shahid.
Now tell me one thing. Wait. So you have the whole hunt for the main Gunda, right?
Yeah, that's where the storyline is at, right?
No, I know. Yeah, but I'm just wondering. We know that he's a mole and he's been helping him out. So what is the purpose now of shooting him? He's done with it, or what is like the?
Okay, so that is also explained in the sense that, so they're chasing after this guy for the longest time. I don't remember what his name is, but he's like this big time.
What is his name?
What was his name? I don't remember. Nonetheless, like, okay, so this goon has been out at large and like is a major piece in the whole cartel or whatever you want to call it. And they've been wanting to take him down for the longest time, and each time they get really close to him, right before he's nabbed, he somehow manages to evade the cops, and this has happened multiple times. So there is an inherent feeling that someone within the police force is a mole who's leaking information, because otherwise there's no way that he kind of evades each time so close to getting. So it's like last minute information being passed on, kind of a thing. So that much is very well known. Now what happens is, in one of these quests, eventually, I think when they're about to nab him or close to nabbing him, until this point he's not caused any harm to the police. So he's always evaded him, but had no impact on anyone's life.
Yeah, he just told him to get away or let him get away with it.
And that's what he's been doing. Like, he's been evading the cops without any real implication. What happens in the last one is that he, instead of just running away, for some odd reason decides to get back at the police and blows up the place, which takes away I think, injures a few people and 2 or 3 people kind of die from it.
Yeah.
One of those people happens to be the father of the girl he's interested in. And I think that's the driving home factor or the changing point where he feels like, okay, like I've helped him to this point. And like he was a huge part of the difficult childhood that I came from, and he was a huge help and stuff. But I need to draw the line somewhere, and that's where he draws the line, kind of a thing. When he feels the pinch of that pain kind of being inflicted upon the person he loves, and that's where it turns. Like now, the question is it just that the fact that his father-in-law or to-be father-in-law loses the ability to walk, or is it also the fact that his humanity kicks in terms of the other people who lost their lives and the kind of injury that's been brought about because of everything that's kind of happened? And then eventually he works with Rohan and the police force to nab him. This time, obviously, there is no call that goes out, so the goon is never expecting it, because his also the goon at this point has become very relaxed, because he I think thinks that anytime such a
But one thing I don't think this is the stupidest thing ever, is that when you're trying to nab a big kingpin who's been evading you for so many months, the last thing you ought to do is put a drone right there.
Yeah.
Like drones have enough visual capacity. Don't worry, they can do it from far away. But no, it's like outside his like whatever room,
balcony.
Yeah, balcony. It's like
right,
we're watching you.
Like, whoa, whose drone is that? The only thing left was it to have Mumbai Police logo on it. That was like that's the only last straw they needed to put. Everything else did it. And like, okay, cool. We're trying.
But he's a bigger idiot with the fact that he doesn't notice this at all until some noise comes.
The first time he does not notice it, and then eventually second time he's like, oh, what the hell? Cool. Like, okay, let me shoot it down.
And also, are the people around him, like in that gully and everything, who bash up the Mumbai police, are they already in on the fact that if Mumbai police come, we are going to beat the shit out of you? Or was that all a spur of the moment shit?
It's a spur of the moment thing. But the thing is, I think what he's done with Shahid's character, he's done with a lot of other people, which is why they're willing to put their life on the line for him. This guy he's an asshole, but he's smart enough to know who are the people who are going through difficult times, and it's always good to help them out, because they will not see you for the asshole or a jackass that you are. They'll kind of portray you to be this guy who's helped them out in a very difficult time, and kind of on that basis decide to protect you or like fight for you or whatever stuff like that. Right? So this guy picks and chooses. I think his friend Rohan mentions it. Like he saw the opportunity with you. Like it's not like he actually was a kind guy or anything like that. He just saw you in a difficult place and he used that to his advantage. So yeah, that's and in that thing, like once the bomb blast happens and the police lose some of them lose their life, some are injured, etc., etc. Shahid eventually decides. Shahid's character Dave decides to not help the main kingpin out anymore, and he's immediately kind of taken down in the first instance. Right after that, I think the first search they
first
do,
encounter is done.
Encounter itself, yeah, and just as the kingpin is about to kill his friend Rohan Saxena, he manages to intervene and
kill Rohan Saxena?
Saxena, is it not? Rohan, what is it? Disilva? No.
Like Aaron's like, you've got my name right here.
No. Is it Rohan Disilva?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay,
Saxena.
So Rohan, I don't know why I said Rohan Saxena. Must be one of the earlier Bollywood movies for sure. But yeah, coming back to this, so he takes out the kingpin right before he kills his friend. So he saves his life then.
Yeah, he saves his life just to kill him
only
later.
to go back and kill himself later.
So, wait. But I'm guessing at that point when he saves Rohan's life, Rohan's not told him yet.
No, of course not. No, because he's not figured it out until then.
Yeah. So, another thing which, I mean, I've been saying the stuff that I like. So because I've given it 2.5, I need to say stuff that I didn't like. One thing I didn't like is I'm supposed to feel sorry for Rohan's family, but honest to God, I did not feel an ounce of pity for them.
I felt bad for the fiance, obviously, but like
no, that's not family. I mean, like family in the sense, fiance not yet wife, not yet married or whatever. But yes, I felt bad for her. But the family, the father,
the brothers,
I didn't feel an ounce of pity. I felt, I was like, you guys need to be whacked.
Yeah, but you don't feel pity for them in the fact that you don't care if they died, but not to the point where you actually feel pity for. Like I felt bad that Rohan dies because he genuinely seems like a good cop.
Yeah. No, I feel bad that he died. I don't feel like if like Dave like bashing up the brother and the brothers and then the humiliating the father. I was like, yeah, fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm supposed to feel sorry for the fact that you're going through this period and there's this cop who's killed your son who's doing all that. But I'm like, no, man, you deserve it. Like rich people and their stupid shits. The way that they treat people. But the major other issue that I had is the women in this. And I know I love the fact that there was a news agent or not news agent, a reporter angle to it. I just felt like it didn't amount to much.
I don't have an issue with that. See, again, we need to I understand inclusive.
Overall, I just didn't think she added anything to.
But that's not what the movie is about, right? Like that's
no, but I'm saying that I like the fact that yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the thing is like if she wasn't there in the movie, it was like you didn't miss anything. It's like there was no point to that character even being there. It's like you started
so see again this movie is seen from Dave's perception to a lot of the extent, right?
The other thing is the reason I'm disappointed is that I really liked having that reporter angle and covering something like what the Mumbai Police is doing and all would have been a nice angle to bring in. It would have been a nice touch to have her kind of cover whatever's happening in the Mumbai Police and all that. But I think that is probably in the movie span that you have, this kind of angle should have been brought in more if it was a TV show, right? Where you had time to explore what this character is doing, the fact that she's going around doing all that. In this, I know
trying to find the mole and stuff.
Yeah, or she's trying to cover up or whatever's happening in the Mumbai Police, the issues that are there and all that. My problem was that I really liked the angle. I didn't like the fact that you did nothing with the angle, and that angle you've shown me promise, and then you've been like, actually, I'm not doing anything with that promise.
Yeah, no, okay. So here's to it, right? Like I think the movie is focusing on the perception of Dave. Which is why you don't see so less of any other character.
I love the fact that we are the ones bringing just problems and names just solving it for us.
He's like that guy trying to bat off all the criticism.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, see,
but go ahead.
When you have important characters placed in there, I completely agree with you. Like, in a show where it's focused more in terms of the issues that are
in Mumbai Police or
in Mumbai Police, etc., etc.
Yeah.
This movie is not about what issue lies within Mumbai Police. This story is purely about Dave and the issues surrounding Dave. This is about a character who is so self what do you say? Obsessed. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the world revolves around him. He thinks that's how this thing is, and we are looking at it from his psyche, which is why a lot changes the moment there is a flip. Like the Dave A dies and Dave B comes in. Suddenly, you see a lot more focus on the women in the sense of the takedown that happens. The cop that was initially not being allowed to be a part of the action suddenly is the one who takes down one of the goons that's trying to run away or something. So those are like very small niche things that happen, but I actually kind of like understood to the point where until that point in the movie everything is focused on Dave. It's about him. Anything and everything, he feels like he's the center of it, whether it is good, whether it is bad, it's all about him. The moment that changes is when Dave B comes around, and certain things keep like every now and then suddenly his peers like come into focus as well. Like they have deduction skills as well. They have suggestions to make as well, kind of a thing, which is non-existent in the first half of the movie where Dave A is the central character and you're seeing everything. And I think that only like you realize, for me, that was the point where at the end of the movie I was like recalling certain instances. The most obvious one being the camera thing. Like if I'm seeing it as a general public and the movie is being displayed it from that perspective, I should have seen that there was no one there running. Because they portray it in a certain way, we actually see it. It's basically his psyche playing on us. We are looking at it from his perspective. Which is why I understand why the film does not focus on the other characters, because the movie is about Dave A. In a sense. And it's completely focusing on that perspective. If it was about Mumbai Police and high profile cases and things like that, then I understand the news, the investigators and stuff like that who are outside of the police department as well.
There was one scene talking about the women in the movie. There's one scene which piqued my interest because I thought there was going to be something different, which is when Rohan throws the whiskey at Dave, right, and storms out because he's pissed off. The other woman comes in and peeks in, and I was like, "Oh, is she going to play a bigger role in this whole scheme? Is he going to use her to do something, right?" Like in the sense that because she's obviously like madly in love for some reason with this guy, where she says, right, like, you may not, I know you don't think much of me, but I really had, which I didn't get again, which I felt was, why are you bringing this angle? Like, what is this angle suddenly coming about? Because yes, we've seen you sleep with him once and then that's it, then you've gone back. We've seen. That's what.
It's clear that it's been happening over.
No, I know. It's a regular instance, I know. And then later, he ignores her when he becomes Dave B, when in that sort of port market, right, where he's sitting on the motorbike and she sees and she tries to get his attention.
And he looks away.
He doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't know who this person even is, and he looks away. So I get that. Again, doesn't add much. The fact that she tells him that she liked him, and even though he didn't add anything to me. Why that scene why
it does, because that's the reason why she does not reveal the fact that he's gone and killed his friend.
But is that he never said anything about the fact that he's gonna kill him at that point, right?
No, but the conversation when she has eventually, when she comes back to him and says, like, I just wanted you to know that I'm moving or whatever and stuff like that, and I just want you to know that your secret is safe with me, and that's the whole the whole concept is.
Does she overhear the whole conversation that he's the mole?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. That she knows that
that's the secret. Okay,
he's been like in cahoots with the kingpin or whatever, and like his friend is having a go at him. Kind of a thing. So she knows that, and
that's the secret only. I don't think she knows that he kills him. That anybody
else
could.
Eventually, at later point, no, at the last bit. The last bit, your secret is safe with me, is what she says at the end.
Yeah, but your secret being that you're the mole.
The secret that you're the mole. I mean, she may assume that he's killed Rohan, but I mean, she wouldn't know that he's done.
Is it not revealed by that? Oh no, he goes to jail at that perspective. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Which again, that jail scene, I have no clue what that is. It's probably setting up some sequel or something.
Yeah. I don't know how that angle works, because killing one person in itself is a huge crime, and you go for life for sure. Killing a cop is a whole other thing.
Do you go for life in India for killing a person?
I mean, unless you know someone big. So.
Okay, I don't know.
I
Probably
have
the
no
next
clue.
movie is
The
not, it's not
guy
Dave,
that they were
it's Vasta.
chasing broke out of prison. So how hard could it be now?
No, I think the second, I'm guessing if there is a sequel to this movie, which I find it hard to believe because I think the movie bombed. So I'm not quite sure what would be the reasoning behind going, unless like Netflix numbers are doing extremely well and they're
Our
doing
three
like
views have brought back life into
yes,
Deva.
yeah. It was in one of the top 3 or top 4 for like a few.
I'm sure that's why. I
days
mean,
of months.
now cinema numbers mean nothing. You come onto OTT, and that's why you make your.
Yeah. So I think it really depends on how it performs on the OTT to see if there will be life. But I see the only way I see him breaking out of that jail is that there is a huge threat, and considering
And
his
the
good
only
behavior
person who can
and all of that
save
shit and
us.
stuff like
Yeah.
that, so Farhan pulls all the strings and shit like that to get him to work.
Yeah.
Not as a cop per se, but someone who's
We
like
need an undercover cop.
Yeah,
no,
something
or
along
or
those
it's
lines.
like that sniper advisor that came, who's actually a
Yeah,
convict.
it's actually exactly.
Random
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. So that's the
Is
only angle I can think of it. Unless they all meet with an accident and everyone loses their memory and they don't remember that he's actually a convict, then perhaps there's some alternative there.
This is one elaborate CID episode at the end of it.
But I thoroughly enjoyed. I don't know how you guys do not like this movie, but that okay, Praj, yours I still
we don't know
understand.
how you enjoyed that.
It's not just me. Even Asmin did. Oh my god, we were having such a good time.
That does not add anything to her.
And so did Shabnam, by the way. So
that just says we know why you all married each other. Like minds.
So my sister also loved the movie. We're very different
but you're in the same
personalities.
family. You're all in the same family.
That does not work. That's not how it is. We all have differing personalities. We all like different things.
Yeah, but
this movie was so much fun to watch. I think also what helps with it is like how much I was done with Fight Club and the pacing of Fight Club in itself. Watching this movie post that kind of really like, and I don't know what you guys are on about, but Shahid's attitude and his depiction of the character was fantastic for me.
No,
I loved it.
It irritated the shit out of me the way he was dressed
Guys,
as a police officer.
Don't take anything these guys say to heart. Please go and watch the movie if you haven't. You'll love it.
This coming from the guy who also admitted that the movie bombed, so we know who's in the majority. So, guys,
I would suggest you go watch Mumbai Police. You'll have a better time of it.
I have to watch Mumbai Police as well.
No, but
now it's very difficult with already knowing the reveal. So
yeah, it does, and that's what the same case, right? Is that once you've watched these kind of movies, going back to it becomes a bit of a difficult thing unless you want to look for some Easter eggs or you want to really look for those kind of hints.
I can definitely watch Dave again. For the swagger that Shahid brings to the role, the way he kind of reloads the gun. Oh my god!
I don't know what's happened to Bollywood music, but my god, has it fallen off a cliff.
The music, I just
there was one song only, I think, right?
I think during the wedding or something.
Oh my god, it was.
Which also I love the fact that they kind of puts these small bits of very important information kind of right there for you to see, but you don't actually see. It's like things like he's a cop, but his sister's wedding is a very extravagant one, and it's kind of actually pointed out too as well by one of the constables who's his girlfriend's father eventually.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's like you've thrown a really like big party kind of a thing, and if you kind of start thinking about, okay, he is a cop who's not right at the top per se, so would he be earning that kind of money? Extremely unlikely.
What is he? Deputy Commissioner, South Mumbai, man. South Mumbai people are rich beyond belief.
I wouldn't know about that. I haven't stayed in Mumbai enough to know.
No, but
at all, rather. But yeah.
Yes. So South Bombay
creatures
are totally different ball game altogether.
I have no comments on that. South Bombay people, if you're watching the podcast, please continue to watch our podcast.
Or
Do
listen
not
to it.
pay attention, or listen to it. Do
Oh,
not pay
I just said
attention
you're a different kettle of fish. I never said it's a bad thing or a good thing. I have certain biasness, I suppose, as to why I don't like South Bombay people. But yes, it is. That's for a different podcast, I suppose, after ours. But yeah, let's talk about nothing else because we are done with the review for Dave A, Dave B, Dave C. Hopefully, at some season or the other, we'll catch up with Dave D. But until then,
and if you guys are watching this episode right after watching the Fight Club and wondering why we all are dressed the same, it's because we just happened to record the episode on the same day because we kind of did a double
feature, of very of almost similar kind of films with plot twists.
Yeah, I mean there are some
Split
plot twists.
Personality.
Yeah. Oh no! Yeah. Oh, the spoiler, but shit.
You already said it, right?
Yeah.
In what?
Where did we not reveal it?
We already said it. Okay, but we have not said. We need to say spoiler. Not just for Dave, but also
but for Fight Club. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we don't know where this is going to end up and who's watching it. But anyway, thank you to everyone who's watching us on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify. You can hit the like button, share, subscribe, do the lot. Comment down below as to what you thought of the movie. Which one did you like? If you watched both Mumbai Police and Deva, which one was better and why? And do let us know, what movies you think we should be watching next. We'd love to have your opinions as well on the same.
And if you haven't watched Deva yet, you should definitely go and give it a watch.
It's so weird that we have to say Deva because it's technically Dev A.
Yeah, Dev A. I know. Yeah. It's a nice. It could also be like Dev Ambre, so Deva. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so Deva Re Deva.
But I'm not looking at it from that perspective anymore. Correct. I'm looking at it Dev A and what follows as Dev B. So
yeah,
watch out for what comes
next
eventually.
Yeah. But that's it for this particular episode review. We'll catch you all on the next one. See you.